Good morning Year 3 and welcome to today's maths video, which is for Friday the 26th of February. So let's look at today's Fluent in 5. As always, if you haven't done it yet, please pause the video and have a go. So let's go through the answers. So here we've got 46 times 3. Now hopefully you're getting quite used to these now. I've made 3 groups because I am multiplying by 3. So I have 3 groups, and in each group I have 4 tens and 6 ones to represent my 46. I've then done that 3 times, so I've got 46 in each group. So if I count it up, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. So I've got 120 from my tens. Then if I count my ones, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then if I add my tens and ones together, I have 8 ones, 3 tens, and 100. So I have 138. Well done if you got that right. This one, we have 16 divided by 2. Now, if you know your 2 times tables, you could count up in 2s until you get to 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Or you can make your 2 groups and share your 16 into them until you end up with 8 in a group. So you'd have 8 in each group because 8 times 2 is 16. So your number was 8. And then if we look at this one, so you could do 6, add 6, which equals 12, and then add 5 more, which equals 17. Or you could combine the 6 and the 5, and 6 and 5 together make 11. Because remember, 6 add 6 is 12. So you have 11, and then you're just doing 6 add 11, which gives you 17. So I don't know if you got that one correct. Then again, we've got another missing part problem here. Now, we know that when we're adding 2 numbers, that this is always our total. So if we do it as a bar, our total is 745. Our whole is 745. Now the 745 is made up of 2 parts. These 2 parts have been added together to make this whole. So one goes here and one goes here. Now we didn't know what that was. However, if we take that number away from our 745, we are left with our missing number. So hopefully you did 745, take away 407. Now, you can't start with 5 and take away 7, so you needed to regroup your 4 tens into 3 tens, and then you had 15 ones. 15 take away 7 is 8, then 3 take away 0 is 3, and 7 take away 4 is 3. So your missing number is 338. So now we've finished Fluent in 5, I'm going to talk you through your activity for today. Now, your activity for today is available on Teams. It has been set as an assignment and should be a Word document called Assignment for Today's Date. Now, you don't need to print it off because I've made it so you can edit it on the computer. So you should be able to fill in everything on the computer, and as you work on it, it should save and it's already uploaded. So you shouldn't even need to do any printing, any uploading. Hopefully it's a little bit easier for you. So let me show you what it looks like. Now, this is on PowerPoint slides because I had to snip pictures of it. Obviously, yours will be a Word document. So one of the first activities you've got will look like this. It's some pictures, and some of the pictures are whole pictures. For example, that is a whole apple, and some of the apples have been slightly eaten, and you need to write it as a fraction. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 whole parts, so your denominator is 4. And then how many parts of the fraction have been eaten? Well, 2 out of the 4 apples have been eaten, so your numerator is 4. So you've got the rest of these pictures. Now, in this box, I've put a little question mark at the moment so that you should just be able to click into that box and delete the question mark, and you should be able to just begin typing if everything has worked. So hopefully, anytime you see something like this, it's a little text box for you to write into. Then you've got a table. Now I have made some bars that represent fractions. You have to tell me how much of the fraction has been how much of the shape, has been shaded as a fraction. So think about how many whole parts there are and how many parts have been shaded. And then you need to do the same for the unshaded section. So how many parts are there in total and how many are unshaded? And then how would you write that fraction as one whole? And then remember, that would be putting those two together, because if you put the unshaded and shaded together, you get the whole. So you have to do that for each of those shapes. Then I've got some pictures where you have to find half of the pictures, and then it's starting to have a go at finding fractions of amounts. But if you use the pictures, hopefully it will be a bit easier for you. So you need to find half of the gingerbread biscuits. So think about how you would find half of them. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So when you've found half of them, what is half of 4? Then if you look at the tangerines, if you find half of those, so you can split them into 2 equal groups, there are 6 of them, so it should help you tell me what half of 6 is. And you'd write it in that little box there, because there's a question mark, so that I've put a text box there for you to edit. Hopefully that works. Then this is the final part. So you have got to order these fractions from smallest to largest. Again, I've given you a text box here. You should just be able to highlight all of that text and write over the top of it. And then order these fractions from the biggest. So these ones you're going smallest to largest. These ones you're going biggest to smallest. So you have a look carefully at your numerators and your denominators and see if you can work that out. It's very similar to what we were doing yesterday and the day before. And then here you have to compare. So you've got an amount shaded and you need to write that as a fraction. So how many parts shaded out of how many whole parts. And then for this one, you have to look at how many parts shaded out of how many whole parts, and then put a more than, less than, or equal sign in here to tell me which fraction is greater. So which fraction, you need to show me which fraction's bigger. So you'd write what this fraction was, write what this fraction was in here, and then use the symbols to show me which one is bigger, smaller, or equal. Now remember, the thing with these is the bigger side goes next to the bigger number. So if I had a 5 and a 3, my 5 is my greater number, so the big side goes next to the big number. If I had a 5 and an 8, I know that 8 is a greater number than 5, so the bigger side of the symbol goes next to the bigger number. So that might be of use to you. And if they are identical, if they are exactly the same, remember you would use equals, because that means balanced, it means the same. So good luck, and I hope that all goes well. I hope it saves for you automatically and you have no problems. And let us know if you do. Good luck, and I'll see you soon.